Being a fan of anime since the early 2010s, it was very strange to see just how popular it got in recent years. To my generation who grew up watching it, it was special. It wasn't necessarily popular or well accepted at the time, but it was special. And you knew it was special from the first moment you laid eyes on it.
One day, when I was 9 years old, I was with my cousin Paulina, and she put on the very first episode of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I saw this episode out of nowhere, and I just didn't have any context for it. I was like, "Who's this guy in the armor? What's this guy with the arm? That's really cool." And it was just something I probably wasn't meant to watch at that age, but also irrevocably kind of rocked me to my core at that point. And you see the scene of Edward transmuting his brother's soul into his armor with his leg removed from his body, blood pouring out.
Damn it! You won't take him too! Give him back! He's my brother! Take my leg! Take my arm! Take my heart! Anything you can have it! Just give it back! He's my little brother! He's all I have left!
So violent and true and emotional and sincere. And I just wanted to know everything about it. And it was just so sincere in a way that I've been kind of chasing after my entire life.
You had never seen anything like this before. And you didn't even know who to talk to about it. It was just that wild and that different. And it was the start of a very solitary obsession. Number one place for anime in those days was YouTube. And you might have gotten it from a cool older cousin or older relative, but if you were a kid with access to a computer, you were on YouTube all the time.
I would go into the office where my mom worked at, and she'd put me in the copy room, because the copy room had a computer. I was watching YouTube one day. I saw on the sidebar an episode of this show called Kyo Karamao. The show was basically this guy, the main character, Yuri, at the age of 16, one day stops a kid from getting bullied, but in turn the bullies focus on him, and he gets his head dunked into a toilet. From there he travels to another world.
How is this possible? I must be the first person in history to be flushed down a toilet.
He finds out that he is the reincarnation of the first Demon King, and the story just kind of evolves from there.
You found out it probably wasn't the most normal thing to enjoy, but it was still fun. You still had a good time with it. But you would get these weird looks in school when he talked about it, just shifty-eyed.
I like to think people didn't think I would shoot up the school. But, I mean, maybe that was a thought in some people's heads. I don't know.
It's not necessarily unearned. I mean, there's just a lot of questionable stuff in these shows sometimes.
There's things that are, outsider looking in. Yeah, that's, pretty weird. If you're not used to it. If you didn't... an example, I gave Don to Don how that first episode was basically a high schooler girl's clothes is ripped off and stuff like that. And then
for our species to regain reproductive functions, we require the use of your banana organs.
It was kind of had I had no background or whatever, I'd probably be yeah, that's not good. You know what I mean? I can't blame someone for looking at that and being that's weird. And sometimes there's just titles that are really bad. And it'll be shows that are really sweet. There's this one where it's my wife got reincarnated as a 5th grader or something like that recently. Ended up, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. But from a lot of people's responses, it's more about the family dealing with loss and grief, and then the wife is reincarnated, and it's more. It's not the dad wants to sleep with the child or whatever.
This cartoon morality fails you eventually. And where love once blossomed, heartbreak followed.
I loved Princess Tutu, Max. It was everything I wanted in an anime. It was ballet. It was a good story. It was fairy tale. There was good, choreography. The issue with Princess Tutu was that the ending was ass. The ending, how horrible that ending was. I loved that show so much that my dad had to kick me out of my room and made me go on a long bicycle ride with him to like touch grass. That's how obsessed I was with this show. When I was on the bike ride, I remember thinking like, oh my God, how is she gonna do it? How is she gonna save the prince? And it was just all this. And then just for the prince to end up with the villain, like the villainess, and I was so pissed off. She gave up her ability to dance. She gave up her ability to be a human. And she was left as a fucking duck. A fucking duck at the end. And then I'm supposed to be okay with this? That was devastating to second grade Gabby. So devastating, in fact, that for 3 years I swore off all anime. I hated anime so much so because of this.
You're tired of it. It's embarrassing, it's disappointing, so you drop it and you move on with your life. And then years later, you start to think about it again. You think about what it really offered you in those precious years where everything could have gone wrong, but didn't because you stayed at home watching weird Japanese shit all day.
I think, and like a lot of like art in general made on that side of the globe is aware of the fact that like that art and both people are made from the best and worst experiences of your life. Like they may be fucked up, but they're also like a part of who you are intrinsically. To use like the Tokyo Ghoul and Chainsaw Man as an example, like beautiful and horrible things do happen to the characters, but they're all like core in making them who they are. And it's also like they wouldn't be here without them. You're still, and that's true for like humanity as well too. Like I've experienced some great shit. I've also experienced some horrible shit. But at the end of the day, I'm still formed because of them, and I wouldn't be here without those experiences. So, like, a lot of those, I think that fact is kind of, like, baked into a lot of those kind of stories. It understands, like, the intrinsics of, like, humanity in a way that was easy for me to grasp as, like, a child and as a teenager, in a way that a lot of other media wasn't really doing.
You ask yourself if it made you a better person.
I don't think I would have, like, learned so much about, like, humanity and just, like, the life lessons I've like held core to my heart and my soul if it wasn't for like the kind of stories being told by anime that I wasn't going to find anywhere else.
You ask yourself if it made you feel in ways that you don't usually.
One time I did bawl my eyes out and cry horribly. Like it was like you look at it and if you just watched it on YouTube, it would look very cheesy and like, oh, whatever. Like, you know what's going to happen at the end of the montage and the point of it. But I think they capture just moments that are so intimate and so beautiful.
And it did do all that. Then you grow up and you don't have a lot of time to watch all this stuff anymore. I mean, at least not as often, but funny thing happened. It's like everybody else started to get into it. All your normie friends won't shut up about Death Note. You're seeing people with My Hero shirts everywhere. One Piece is huge. It's a weird feeling. It's like the world caught up to you and then left you behind.